nigga. So y'all can think I'm a.
Nah, bro.
That ain't fair, nigga.
Hey,
I'm on EBT, bro.
hey.
That's wild.
Kevin McCall's viral meltdown reignited long-standing friction with Chris Brown. But before things could calm down, Young Thug decided to step in, confronting Chris directly. What began as a private talk quickly escalated into a tense exchange. The leaked footage from that night showed just how out of hand it got. Let's unpack it. The breakdown that rattled the entire industry. October 20th, 2025. The day the music world witnessed one of the rawest, most emotional moments in R&B history. Kevin McCall, 40, sat down for what seemed like a regular podcast episode on Back on Fig. No one could have predicted that what unfolded during that nearly 3-hour interview would send the streets, the industry, and social media into absolute chaos. Pulling back the curtain on one of hip-hop and R&B's most toxic rivalries. Around 45 minutes in, as the hosts hyped up his undeniable talent, something inside him just snapped. He reached into his wallet, pulled out his EBT card, his electronic benefits transfer, basically food stamps, fam, and right there, on camera, in front of the world, Kevin McCall broke down in tears.
Why the fuck
You have a testimony.
Why
tell your life.
Get in on this.
I witnessed it.
He finna be in here and
Why
tell
the
her
fuck I got an EBT card? And this is at
Hold on,
Breezy Bowl
cuz.
and made 90 whatever the million, and it say KKKKK Max. Can I get 25,000 for them four songs I owe you, bro? I just want to leave, bro.
Leading up to who he is.
I'm
right
not
now.
even tripping though. I got an EBT card, my nigga. Like what the bro? I can't even get nothing, bro.
Bro, it was raw to the core, painful to watch, and impossible not to feel something. Whether that was pity, shock, or a tangled mix of both emotions hitting all at once. Here was a man who had helped create some of the biggest bangers of the 2010s, whose pen and voice had generated millions, who'd worked on Grammy-winning records, now relying on government aid just to eat. McCall kept it real and admitted he was behind on $2,000 monthly child support for his daughter Marley with his ex, Eva Marcel. He confessed he hadn't seen his kids in over 10 years. Through tears, sniffles, and soul-breaking sobs that hit hard, he spoke from the heart and made a direct plea to Chris Brown. Give me the $25,000 you owe me for those 4 songs, bro. McCall claimed the unpaid royalties could total nearly $3 million, saying an invalid CBE deal had finessed him out of his fair cut. And the contrast hit everyone like a punch. While Chris Brown was killing it on his Breezy Bowl 20 tour, grossing close to $100 million performing songs McCall helped write to sold-out arenas, McCall was out here using food stamps, hiding his face in grocery stores from embarrassment. Like, damn.
In my name. Me and Heather, look. Me and Heather went to the county building together. On my mama, together. We went to the county building together, bro.
The clip went insanely viral. No exaggeration. Within hours, it pulled in millions of views across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. The internet couldn't stop talking. The main post from @Mixtapairs on Twitter alone racked up over 9 million views. The streets were split in half. Some saw a man destroyed by an industry that used him up and left him dry, a warning about the darker side of the game where loyalty don't exist. Others saw karma, a dude who'd made his bed, burned bridges, and was now playing the victim. But then came the twist no one expected. Somebody with enough respect, money, and ties to both sides stepped into the mix, Young Thug. Fresh out the jam and ready to show love. On October 21st, 2025, just a day after McCall's breakdown broke the internet, Young Thug tweeted, Kevin McCall hit me, my __. I'll give you the $25,000 you need. And I know CB would too, bro. He a real one. Just busy sometimes. Bro, that was a powerful move on many levels. And the culture took notice right away. Why this moment hit different? You got to understand the bond between Young Thug and Chris Brown. These two weren't just collaborators. They had a real friendship built on respect and shared grind. Back in 2020, during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic when the world was shut down, they dropped Slime and B, a 13-track mixtape that showed off their unmatched chemistry and had the streets going wild. The lead single Go Crazy peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went 4 times platinum. Pure pressure. But beyond the music, the loyalty was mutual. When Thug got hit with RICO charges in May 2022 and spent more than 2 years locked up fighting his case, Chris Brown was one of the few who showed real love, not just industry sympathy. Brown posted #FreeYSL, spoke about Thug in interviews with genuine concern, and kept his name alive the whole time.
Actually basically on a text message saying word. That's all they saying. Like it's one dude saying, yo, do this, and one dude is saying word. What do you feel about that?
I mean, I can't speak for my brothers in them cases and what they going on. I can only be who I always been, they brother. I'm a rock with them for life. It's us, never.
Time evening came. Doctors had to break the words nobody wanted to hear. Zoo was brain dead. His brain had gone too long without oxygen. Even if machines kept his heart beating, man himself, F. Bayou, the rapper, father, solid one, was already gone. What remained was just a body running on hospital wires. A heartbeat created by technology. A painful illusion of life that only stretched the heartbreak for his people. His mom, and no mother should ever face that choice, couldn't bring herself to decide at first. How could she tell them to stop the machine keeping her son alive? To her, that man in the bed wasn't a street legend or a rapper from the trenches. He was still her child, the same boy she raised before the fame and the violence. Doctors spoke softly, explaining that her son wasn't coming back, but what they saw was just reflex, not recovery. One by one, family and close friends stepped into that room, whispering final goodbyes to someone who could no longer hear them, holding his hand while the monitor still blinked like there was hope. Then, in the quiet early hours of October 26, 2025, after hours of grief and impossible decisions, Zoo's loved ones finally agreed to end life support, setting his soul free after a long, heartbreaking fight. Then came another moment that shattered the composure he had fought to maintain. The prosecutor held up a set of photographs and asked softly, "Are these images of you in the hospital?" That question, simple in form, heavy in meaning, cracked something deep within him. Forced to confront those images of himself broken, bleeding, and unrecognizable, Norris lost control. The emotions he had been holding back finally surged forward. His voice gave way to sobs as tears rolled down his face. The dam that had held back the flood of grief and trauma for so long finally broke open. In front of everyone, the jury, the press, the judge, and dear Norris couldn't contain it any longer. The judge, clearly moved by the emotional collapse unfolding before him, gently called for a recess. He ordered the jury to step out, giving Norris a chance to breathe, to recover, to pull himself together. In those few quiet moments that followed, with tissues in hand and trembling shoulders, Norris sat trying to steady his breathing, to rebuild the fragile emotional wall that had just come crashing down. Right there, he was a young man who had seen his cousin's final breath, who had narrowly escaped death himself, and who now carried both visible scars and invisible ones that would never fade. What Norris described on that stand wasn't just a single event. It was the explosive climax of years of bloodshed, retaliation, and pain. A cycle of violence fueled by rival crews and amplified through the echo chambers of drill rap and social media. To grasp the magnitude of what unfolded that night, and why Norris's testimony left such a lasting impact, we have to go back to the roots of it all, to the tangled history that shaped Julio Fulio's life and ultimately sealed his fate. Let's rewind the clock to 2023, because what happened on June 23, 2024, wasn't random. It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment act of rage. It was the result of careful planning, a calculated, methodical setup that prosecutors later described as an ambush executed with killing precision. Surveillance footage presented in court brought those final hours to life, each frame capturing the movements, the waiting, the approach, painting an image of Fulio's last moments with haunting, unforgettable clarity. He was demanding accountability, demanding his seat at the table to address what he saw as years of unpaid royalties, broken promises, and industry politics that crush careers. But if McCall thought Brown would hit him back with a calm conversation or even a private DM to clear the air, he was in for a harsh reality check. Because the next day, March 10, 2016, Chris Brown clapped back with an Instagram rant that left zero room for misunderstanding. It was brutal, personal, and explosive. The kind of response that ends friendships for good. Brown called McCall a bottom feeder and dropped a chilling warning that froze everyone scrolling that day. Keep __ with me and you won't be able to walk, let alone sing again. Let that sink in. This was no longer a behind-the-scenes business issue. It had turned into something darker, a threat, veiled but deadly serious. And the culture felt it immediately. Coming from someone as talented as Brown, but with a well-documented history of violence and temper issues, it hit different. Still, McCall, being who he was, wasn't backing down. He tried to keep it cool. He posted on Snapchat, "I'm Chris Brown's #1 fan." Maybe it was sarcasm, maybe a conflicted mix of truth and bitterness, probably both. Real talk, this was someone who once idolized Brown, who'd helped craft some of his biggest songs, now getting threatened by the same man he once called his little brother. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. The back and forth kept escalating, turning more toxic with each post. All through 2016, McCall swung between begging to be released from his contract and praising Brown's talent like nothing had happened. It was messy, a dance of loyalty, hurt, and pride that anyone who's seen a toxic friendship fall apart could recognize. Then, in June 2016, McCall dropped a diss track called Baruch, a jab at Brown's ex, Karuich Tran, and the streets went crazy. Later, he admitted he used Karuich's name just to get under Chris's skin. Petty? Absolutely. Calculated? 100%. It showed how far things had fallen, from brothers to bitter rivals who wanted to wound each other. And then came December 11, 2017. The day McCall crossed a line so wild it had the entire culture talking. One of the most devastating pieces of evidence didn't come from police or witnesses, but from technology. A Tesla parked nearby at a charging station had its Sentry mode activated, silently recording everything from multiple angles. What those cameras captured changed the entire case. The Tesla footage revealed the third shooter sprinting behind the line of parked cars, taking cover near a yellow vehicle, and positioning himself with military-like precision. In crystal clear high definition, the video exposed the entire setup. How the attackers coordinated their movements, created overlapping fields of fire, and trapped the charger in a deadly crossfire. Later footage from the Tampa police impound lot drove the horror home even further. Dodge Charger was riddled with yellow evidence markers, each sticker showing where a bullet had hit, the hood, the doors, the windows, roof. Every inch told the same story. This wasn't a few reckless shots fired in panic. It was a barrage, a meticulously executed assault meant to kill every person inside that car. When the prosecutor summarized the footage, his tone was clinical yet killing. The gunman acted with speed. The next question was inevitable. How did police track down the people responsible? The answer exposed the near-impossible challenge of committing a high-profile crime in today's hyper-connected world. As DJ Academic commented during his coverage of the case, "We got Teslas out here acting like 360 security cameras, 4K surveillance on wheels." And he wasn't wrong. Tesla's footage became one of the most crucial pieces of evidence, offering crystal-clear visuals of the suspect's movements. But that was just the beginning. Law enforcement built the case using an intricate web of modern digital evidence, security footage, cell tower data, and even financial records. Ring doorbell cameras from the suspect's own home showed them leaving and returning around the time of murder. Cell phone data revealed their route from Jacksonville to Tampa, even though one suspect thought he was clever by leaving his phone at home. Investigators pulled the phone logs of his associates, tracking the group's movement and cross-referencing it with timestamps from nearby towers. Then came Alicia Andrews, one of the alleged spotters. She began cooperating early, telling investigators she was merely accompanying her boyfriend and unaware of the murder. Even people who had defended McCall before, who believed he got cheated by the system or deserved his royalties, instantly flipped. There are rules, both in hip-hop and in the streets, that everybody knows. And threatening a child? That's sacred ground. You never cross that. Ever. McCall tried to walk it back almost immediately, claiming people misunderstood him, that he was quoting Bible verses like eye for an eye, that he loved Chris and royalty and would kill for them, not kill them. He tried to spin it as a warning about rumors, not a threat. But nobody was buying it. The damage was already permanent. Whatever sympathy people had left for him evaporated in seconds. Any legitimate claims about unpaid royalties or broken deals got buried under the weight of those threats. That moment sealed it. McCall had officially lost control. By threatening a child, he handed Chris Brown the moral high ground and a reason the whole culture could agree with: never speak to him again. And instead of learning from it, in 2019, McCall doubled down on his chaotic streak, going on a rant where he told Chris Brown's fans to commit suicide. It was the final confirmation that something had truly snapped inside him. A shadow of vengeance loomed over the courtroom, an unspoken acknowledgement that while justice crawls forward inside those walls, the violence that gave birth to this tragedy still burned hot in Jacksonville streets. To understand how that June 23, 2024 ambush in a Tampa parking lot became inevitable, you have to look back at the decade-long war that shaped it. This wasn't just one night, it was a culmination of years of bloodshed between rival factions, KTA 6 Block and ATK 1200, a feud that had been raging since the mid-2010s. Dozens dead, countless families destroyed. What began as neighborhood rivalries and personal vendettas escalated into an all-out conflict, fueled by ego, revenge, and notoriety. This war didn't just live in the streets, it thrived online and in the music itself. Drill rap became both the soundtrack and the scoreboard of violence, where every diss and every lyric carried real-life consequences. When news of Julio Fulio's death broke, Boosie captured the bleak mindset of that world perfectly. "I ain't think nothing," he said. "That's how it go, man. When you at war, people die." There was no shock, no outrage, just a weary acceptance. In that life, death isn't unexpected, it's anticipated. Boosie's blunt observation cut to the harsh truth, and that's exactly what Fulio was, the big dog. The face of his side. Most visible, successful, and influential figure in his crew. Eliminating him wasn't just revenge. It was a calculated strike meant to destabilize his entire organization. What made his death even more tragic was how preventable it seemed. Foolio had survived multiple attempts on his life, including a prior shooting where he was hit in the foot. After that, most people would have gone quiet, moved more cautiously, tightened security. But Foolio did the opposite. Stayed active, posting his birthday plans on Instagram, inviting fans to DM him for the location. It was a fatal mix of fame and fearlessness. When you broadcast your whereabouts online, you never truly know who's watching. Fans, friends, or foes. One of those DMs might come from someone wanting a photo, or someone planning a hit. After his murder, the cycle of disrespect only intensified. Within hours, rival rapper Young D Nace, one of Foolio's main enemies, to
Deuces come together.
Deuces came together. He was doing In My Zone did well, so he wanted to click up with Tyga. He was a fan of him. He felt like he had buzz popping at the time. He wanted to link up with him and do a joint album.
Brown, impressed by McCall's raw drive and maybe seeing a reflection of his own early hustle in this hungry young artist, invited him to the studio. What followed was a stretch McCall would later describe as magical, a time when he wasn't just a collaborator, but family. Real day ones. Brown signed McCall to his CBE, Chris Brown Entertainment, imprint in a joint deal with RCA Records, positioning him as his protege during one of the most critical chapters of Brown's career. This was Brown's comeback era, the time he had to prove to the world that he was more than his lowest moment, that he could still dominate and make undeniable hits. Together they produced pure fire, no cap. The chemistry between them was instant, magnetic, creating some of the biggest songs of the early 2010s that still go crazy today. One of them was Deuces, the 2010 single featuring Tigger that hit number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became an anthem. But here's where things start to get interesting and show how deep their bond really was. Deuces was originally McCall's record, his creation. He wrote it about his first heartbreak, a painful breakup that left him raw, spilling his emotions into the music.
Your song.
It was my song. It was a separate package from the whole thing. It's like, here's your 10 songs. Oh, and guess what? Listen to this in the car. He was listening to it the whole week. He's like, nah, I need that song. I need that song.
The other OTF and THF members began posting, turning the timeline into a raw stream of grief. Audio clips, shaky videos, and written tributes all carried that numb heaviness that comes when another soldier falls. THF Rome uploaded a voice note talking about how used to death they'd all become, saying it out loud like confession and exhaustion mixed in one. We lost a big face out to, he said, stone empty. Then came the twist that cut even deeper. Lil Durk, locked up in a federal cell fighting RICO charges, got the news behind bars. Couldn't be there, couldn't hug Zeus people, couldn't even pour a drink in his honor. Just stuck in confinement, hearing that another brother from the trenches was gone. Unverified posts from folks who claimed inside knowledge said Durk broke down over a jail phone call when he heard it. Nobody can prove it, but anyone who knows their history knows it sounds real. Durk and Zoo came up side by side, built something from nothing, and even fame and millions couldn't shield them from the same streets that birthed them. The internet turned into a memorial wall, fans posting non-stop. Subreddits like Chiricology and UK drill threads became
1 second, it always felt better. If it was just me and Chris Brown, I don't think the record would be as good. I think it's the whole shebang. I think it's us three, and just, it was what was meant, and I never got jealous of either one of them. I always wanted the best for both of them, and I hope they wanted the.
For a shining moment, Kevin McCall was living the life every kid from the hood fantasized about. He was at the center of R&B's rebirth, side by side with one of the world's biggest artists, creating songs that would define an era and echo through every club and radio station. Brown even called McCall his big brother in interviews, and their studio sessions were legendary, filled with energy, laughter, and genuine brotherhood. The kind of bond that's supposed to last forever. But under all that success and celebration, cracks quietly began to form, small at first, then widening like fractures in concrete. And these weren't minor disagreements, they were fault lines that would eventually split their relationship wide open. The first warning signs showed up around 2013 to 2014, when McCall started feeling trapped, like he was being boxed in creatively, unable to express himself freely. In a 2015 Vlad TV interview that quickly went viral, McCall revealed that Brown wanted him to push a grown, sexy, thug image, one that clashed hard with McCall's own identity and artistic vision, igniting the tension that would soon explode.
I mean, Chris, he had this image of me. He wanted me to this grown, sexy, had this thug appeal, and we kind of just didn't see eye to eye. I didn't see the vision he had at the same time. It could have just been a small conversation, but for whatever reason, he didn't see eye to eye with whatever he was trying to do. with my career.
The breaking point came with an incident that, looking back, might seem small, but it triggered a chain reaction of events that neither man could have predicted, like dominoes crashing one after another. In 2014, Keek Palmer, yes, that Keek Palmer from the memes, reached out to McCall as a fan, wanting to link up for some music. McCall, eager to build his own name outside Chris Brown's shadow and finally carve his own lane, jumped at the offer without hesitation. They shot a video for Shorty Wop Ride, and McCall was hyped, convinced this collab could jumpstart his solo career. But Brown wasn't with it at all. According to McCall, Brown called him directly and made it clear he wasn't happy. Brown felt the move was a bad look for his brand. Palmer's squeaky clean, Disney-linked image didn't fit the grittier vibe Brown was pushing for his label and artists. But this wasn't just about creative direction, it was about power. Who called the shots? Who had control? And Brown, as McCall told it, was furious about being defied. What might have been a creative disagreement turned into a full-blown clash of egos and authority.
I was upset about it, felt like it was a bad look. So he decided to call me on the phone and tell me how much of a bad look, but he didn't tell me in a professional way. So I had to, check him and let him know, don't ever talk to me like that again.
Allowed this rumor making waves right after the murder pointed fingers at the Black Disciple crew known as Bashville Crazy, based near 71st and Wabash. Sources who claim to have inside info, posting on X, Reddit, and street blogs, alleged this was retaliation for the February 2024 killing of a BD named Man Man. He, in turn, was believed to have been taken out for the earlier murder of THFTP, one of Zoo's closest allies. If these reports got any truth to them, it paints a picture of an endless revenge circuit stretching over years, each life lost triggering another, one body leading to the next. TFTP's death in February 2024 sparked Man Man's murder soon after, and 8 months later the cycle spun again, this time claiming Bayu Zoo himself, one of Tichef's most known figures. Executed in broad daylight, his death became another link in an unbroken chain of vengeance that never stops repeating.
Were you being offered publishing deals and stuff like that during this time?
I did a publishing deal through Chris. I didn't understand any of that. So everything was through Chris. And that's why what I was trying to get to is once me and his relationship kind of got funny, he kind of, the business and stuff was all held up and messed up.
McCall's RCA deal, which had been arranged through Brown's influence, also collapsed like a house of cards. He described a shady situation where he wasn't even listed as an official artist on the label's website, where his allocated budget mysteriously got spent on producers he didn't need, considering he produced his own music. Promises kept being made, then broken, the usual industry politics and backdoor games. But what cut the deepest, according to McCall, was being erased from his own legacy. He claimed Brown removed his name from the credits of tracks like Look at Me Now, deleting him from history and stripping away recognition for the songs he helped create. Whether that was intentional spite, sloppy paperwork, or something in between, McCall took it as the ultimate betrayal, being written out of the story by the very man he helped rebuild. The brotherhood was dead, the dream gone, and from that moment, what had started as brotherly love turned into one of the most tragic feuds in modern R&B. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, hit the cards on your screen to check out more.